Hey everyone, this is Amber with Charming Crafts. Sorry about that. My dog took off on the couch. Um, Anyways, today we're going to learn, or I'm going to try to teach you how to make these beautiful adjustable, they're called Shambala style bracelets. And on mine, I'm using all the paper beads that I have made. And I used a multicolor cord on this one, but they are very cute. And you can pull them up open. So they're very adjustable for anybody's wrist size, and they're very easy clasp that just kind of zips. I guess you could call it zip and closed. So anyways, very, very pretty, very neat. I got another one here with some purple and pink beads with some purple cord. And over here, this is hemp with some stone beads and some recycled paper beads, and then hemp in between. I'm addicted to these bracelets. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the things that you will need to get started is you're going to need whatever you choose to use for cord. You could use hemp cord. I don't know what that other cord is. It's like hemp. It's a braiding cord. You could use yarn. Anything else that you have. I think you might be able to use a twine also. And then you're going to need 2 ending beads that you want to use for this part of the bracelet, like the dangle part, whether they're paper beads or plastic store-bought beads, whatever. This is your creation, so you go ahead and choose whatever you want to do. So I've got my paper beads picked out here. I'm using some beads I made a while ago. These, I don't know if you can see them real good. These are hand-painted paper beads that are sealed with PC petrifier and then a shine put on them, vibrance. They're really shiny, nice, sturdy. You can hear them kind of hit the tin there. And then I'm going to use this yarn. And I believe this is 2mm. Yeah. And that's the size that I like. I wouldn't go any smaller than that. And I actually like how this ties on the beads and holds them in place better. And I just think it's really, really, really cute. So to get started, you're going to go ahead and take your cord yarn or whatever you're going to use. And you're going to measure out about 4 feet. I think I measured 5 feet for almost 5 feet. I just always give myself extra, and yarn is so cheap, you know, whatever. And then you're also going to measure out about a 24-inch piece. I actually think I did it 30 inches. I don't know why, I always give myself extra just in case. Another thing that if you're using anything like a yarn or anything that splits at the end, I would go ahead and take either tacky glue or Elmer's glue, and I would put a little bit on the end of your string and mush it together, roll it kind of fine, and then let it dry because it'll go through your beads easier. If not, it splits, can't get them through, it's hard. And then you're going to need something like a clipboard. This is the only clipboard I have. It's kind of like a containered one, but it works. You could use a piece of wood with 2 binder clips, 1 on each end. Whatever you can use that'll hold your bracelet into place. And then I'm going to choose, I think I'm going to put, I usually put about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the size of the beads. 5 beads is usually standard for these bracelets. My longer tube beads, such as this purple one, I only used 4 because of the length. My shorter beads over here, I think I used 5. I could have Yeah, 5 was good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 beads is about standard. If you have really small beads, I'd go more, but I'm going to be using these tapered paper beads. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick out 5 of these that I want to put onto my bracelet. And I do have all of these bracelets for sale in my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is all one word, Jamaica Me Crazy Beads, just like the word Jamaica, Me Crazy Beads, because I am really crazy about beads. Paper beads. Well, I love all beads, but I really love paper beads. They are just awesome. So I'm going to pick out 5 beads. I've got 2, 3. Seeing if I didn't have that glue at the end, it wouldn't be going through. 4. Last bead. Let's see. I want this one. 5. And then I've got my dangle beads. Now, I forgot, when I started this actually before I hit film. So on the side of the bracelet that I started with on my 24, 30-inch string is I tied a knot in the end, and then I put on my dangle bead. And then I'm going to stick this through my board so it'll hold it. But you're going to take this bead and the cord, and you're going to measure out. You don't want to start your bracelet right by the bead, because then that's where your knots will start. So leave yourself enough room when you put it on your clip. Probably, what is that? Let's measure it here so I get it right. I leave about 2.5 inches before I start where I start my knots at. And since my clip's kind of weird, it's a little over 2.5 inches that I let dangle there, give or take. And then I don't cut this end off yet, and I'll show you why. One thing that you would hate the most, or that I hate, is when you buy a bracelet, you put it on, you take it home, and it falls apart. Not cool. If you're using like a nylon cord, you can take a lighter and you can melt the ends of it so the beads don't come off. Since this is a yarn, I have to take super glue. And on my bead, I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue right at the end, and be careful because it does turn hard. But just a little dab at the end, and that way my bead will never come off on somebody, because that is really annoying. So now I can take it and clip that end for my dangle. All right. Make sure, did I put 5 beads on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put 5 beads on there. Okay, so I'm going to take my beads. I'm going to push them up a little bit. See if I'm happy with the way that looks with the cord. I think that'll look nice. And then I'm going to push my beads up just a little bit. And since this isn't a regular clipboard, I kind of have to put my string through it, but it actually holds it pretty nice. Tug it a little bit. Okay. So I got my dangle on this side. I left about 2.5 inches. I've got my 5 beads here. I'm going to push it down to the bottom, because you don't need your beads right now. And I've got not a super tight cord, but it's holding it. And that's what you want. Then I'm going to I cut, like I said earlier, I think I cut like, 5 feet? Did I say I cut 5 feet? You only really have to have 4 feet, especially if you're using a really expensive hemp or something like that. Just cut 4 feet. That's all you need. Now I'm going to find the middle of my cord, match up the ends, make sure I've got the middle of the cord. And I'm going to put that through right under your string that's on your board. And then I'm going to make sure that my ends match up again. And you won't be able to see this because I'm going to pull it off camera, but I'm just making sure that my cord is even. And I'm going to slide it up to the top of my clipboard. And I'm going to tie a knot. And make sure that that starts right up where I have that clipped. And you don't have to tie it like super tight, just, tight enough. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do square knots. I'm going to turn my board a little bit because that's more comfortable for me. And I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to take this string. I'm going to make like a 4. And it's going to get easier as your string gets shorter. But to start off with, everything wants to stick to each other, especially with yarn. Anyway, so I got my 4 on this side. I'm going to bring this string and lay it down on top of this string. So I've got a cross here, and I've got a cross here. Okay, so then I'm going to take this string that I just laid down across my 4, and I'm going to pick up the string on my board, and I'm going to pull that string through, and I'm going to pull each side, and I'm going to bring that up to the top, but I'm not going to pull very hard. I don't want it super tight because then you don't get the bulkiness of it. So now I just did this side. Now I'm going to do this side. Same thing. Make a 4. Take care of the string. Lay it across. Pull up. Through. You're just making a square knot. And pull each side. Not super tight. Now if you have to get up, you walk away, you come back, you go, well, I don't know where I left off. Which side did I just do? I'm constantly getting distracted. You can look at your board, and if you can see, one of these sides will have a little loop, one won't. So whatever side the loop is on is the side you need to start with. So we have, and I always count my knot as 1 because it looks like 1. Other people may do it different, but that's how I do it. So I got 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go for 10 to start with. So this will be 4. Five. Is that my 6th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be 9. If you hear any whispering, my husband and my daughter don't know how to be quiet, so they're playing Destiny. Okay, this is the last one. Told them I was recording, and that's when all the action happens. Okay, so there's 10. Make sure that that's flat, and that looks good. Remember, don't do it too tight. Okay, now I'm going to take one of my beads, and I'm going to move it up my string. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did to begin with, except I started off with 10 here, but I don't want to do 10 here because then you're going to have like a super long, well, you can make a necklace that way actually, but for a bracelet, that's going to be too long. So I usually start with 10, put a bead, go 3, put a bead, go 3, put a bead, and then when I end up at my last one, I finish it off with 10, so it'll be even with the other one. So we're going to do the same thing to tie this bead in. Make your 4, lay your string over, pull it under, and I kind of pull on this one a little bit because I don't want my bead flopping around, but not too tight or it'll kind of like poke out, pop out, go sideways. Just enough. So 1, don't do them too tight. 2, 3. Remember, I count my knot as 1 because it is 1. So there I've got 3. I'm just making sure they're flat. Okay, now I'm going to pull up another bead. I'm going to go again, secure this bead, make your 4, go over, go under, and you'll get faster and faster with this as you keep spitting these things out. Make sure that bead's not going to flop around and you see it tries to escape from me. So that's why you don't want to go too tight or it'll flip out. Then I'm going to do 2 more. Okay, I'm going to undo that one actually. I didn't like how that one went. So let's do that again. So 1, probably because I did it wrong. But I'm not going to edit mistakes out. Okay, now you'll see that my cord's starting to bunch, which means that it came loose. So before I tie that macrame knot in, I'm going to pull my cord. 2, 3, pull up a bead. 1, 2, 'These go pretty quick actually. 3, my cord's getting loose again. Pull up another bead. Put that under. This bead wants to get away from me already. So there we go. 1, 2, and don't pull those too tight. You can always kind of arrange this also. So that was 2. 3, last bead. You think nails would help, but they don't. Tie that in there. Not too tight, but not too loose. 1, 2, 3. Now, since this is the last bead, I'm going to go all the way to 10 to match the other side. So 4, 5, 6, 'Let's be nice here again. How many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 'Trying to see where I'm at here. See, now I got myself lost. 9. Okay, so here's the last one. So that's 10. Switching and turning and oozing and boozing here. Okay. Now here, if you had nylon, you would be able to just snip this off and burn it so it didn't come out on you, so the knot would stay where it's supposed to. But since this is yarn, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull my yarn so it's free. And check this before I tie anything. You can always kind of tighten up your macrame by pulling this bottom cord, and it'll kind of pull the one in the middle. You can pull everything up a little bit closer to each other if you think it's too loose, but once you tie it, it's over. So make sure that you're happy with where everything's sitting. Looks good. I think maybe even stretch that out a little bit more to match the top. All right, pull all my threads together. Okay, so now I'm going to take the side of this. Like I said, if you have nylon or something you can melt, just go ahead and snip it and melt it so it doesn't come out. But I'm going to take a knot, make a knot, and I'm going to try to make this a really, really small knot. And I'm going to try to get it up as close as possible. And that did not go close as possible, so I'm going to do it again. Of course it's not going to go possible. You're on camera, Amber. Why would it work out? If it's going to mess up, it does it when I have the camera on. But that's okay, because that's the real life. All right, I got a knot in that side. I'm also going to go back and trim that a little bit shorter when I'm done. I'm going to put a knot on this side. And that's probably not going to go all the way down. Did it go? Nope. That's okay, because the second time around, hopefully it'll go where I want it to go. And it is not going, so I'm going to try this one more time. I don't know why this is not wanting to work for me right now. It just isn't. Goodness gracious. That's okay, because we don't need that yarn anyways. It's above the knot. Don't need it. Okay, there we go. Pull that tight. I'm going to cut that off anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, that's tightened up. Then I'm going to take some super glue, and I'm going to put super glue right on the end of that knot. I'm going to take super glue, and I'm going to put this right at the end of that one. You got to be careful because this stuff makes it hard. So I glued my fingers together earlier. It's always lovely. Okay, now that I've got the super glue on there, I'm going to go back and trim off just a little bit more. I even go in there and trim off a little bit of that knot if I've made them too big. Okay, now that's not going to go anywhere. I got super glue all over my fingers. All right. Now you're left with one cord. Now I'm going to take this end, and I'm going to take my other bead that I've chosen for my dangle, and I've got glue that I had previously glued on the end of this to make it harder. It's going to get cut off, so it doesn't matter, so I could actually get it through my bead. I'm going to take this one out. Oh, this is cute. I love pink. This is going to be really cute. I match up the ends. And I need to put my knot about there. Hope this knot listens to me. So I go through once, twice as a surgeon's knot, but I'm going to go through one more time like a French knot because it gives it like a nice spiraled knot. I'm going to push that knot down where I needed it and pull. And you won't be able to tell because it's like pink cord, but it gives a nice knot and your bead's not going to fall off. So make sure those beads are dangling at the same length. Pull it tight. Clip it. I'm also going to reassure that that knot's not going anywhere and just dab it with super glue. And not too much, like I said, because it's going to make the string, yarn, whatever you're using, hard. But I rather have a little bit of a hard spot and knowing that my bracelet isn't going to break in pieces. I'm going to give that a few seconds here to dry. That way I'm not gluing things. But didn't that turn out? Look at those dangles. And I'm going to go back and trim these as soon as the glue is dry. But that is really turned out really pretty. But we're not done because now we have to make the adjustable clasp, which that's one of the reasons that I cut 5 feet, is because then I have an extra piece of cord here that I can make the adjustable knot. Now this is the hard part, and I hope I can show this well enough. I'm not the best at these bracelet making, but I'm sure you'll get the gist of it. Plus I don't have too great of a camera, but I am going to be working on that. I'm hoping to get one. I need to sell some things in my Etsy shop. I need a printer too and a paper cutter, so if you would please go to my store. I sell these for $8. Go ahead and buy one of my bracelets, show some love. My Etsy shop at Jamaica Me Crazy Beads. I would just appreciate it. Go ahead also, click the subscribe button, show love, support. I would appreciate that. Leave a nice comment. If you have any questions, you can also comment below. Everybody's try to be nice, haters beware. All right. I'm going to go back and I'm going to snip off the end for my dangles. Look at the end, see if I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's good. All right, so now that we have pretty much our bracelet made, we're going to do the adjustable clasp. So this is how I do it. I don't really have anything to place this on yet. I'm going to get one of those bracelet holders, which would actually make a great bracelet making thing. If you have any ideas, great, love to hear it. But I flip them over my hand, so I take my bracelet, I put my beads over this way, my dangle, I put a dangle over this way, so it's like this. And then you want the cords, don't cross them, but you're going to want the cords side by side. Then you're going to take that extra piece of cord that you had cut off the end of your bracelet. You're going to find the middle. And you're going to go ahead and tie a knot just like you did to start the bracelet. Now, only having one hand, that's why I need something to do this on. Us women out there do a lot of things with one kid in one hand. One arm doing this, one hand doing this. So we're kind of used to that. Anyways. Just going to make my knot. You're going to want to pull it tight, but not like super tight here. We're not supermaning anything, okay? I just tied a simple, basic one knot, just like you did when you started, okay? Make sure your cords are still side by side. You see how it's got a knot in the middle, but my cords are still side by side. I have one dangle here and one dangle ball over here. Now you're going to do the same thing you did, and you can choose to go as short or as long as you want. This is your bracelet. The longer that you make the square knots, the longer the bracelet's going to be. So I choose only to make them small so the bracelet's not too big. That way, if somebody has a small wrist, they can still fit it. And if somebody has a larger wrist like I do, I can fit it. Okay, I don't want to lose my bow dangles here. Okay, I've got my dangle on one side, my dangle on the other. I've got my knot. Now, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to push this up a little bit, if you can see that. I'm just going to do, and I'm doing it one-handed, so I already showed you guys how to do the square knot. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to do the square knot, but up in the air and one-handed. Now don't pull it too tight, but you want it, you know, just like you did for your bracelet when you made it. So now I'm going to go to this side. I'm going to do my square knot one-handed. This is always a lovely trick because everything wants to happen. It's not supposed to be happening, but that's okay. I like a challenge. Wish I was, what is it, ambidextrous? Okay, so I've got 2 square knots in there. I'm going to put another one in. Okay, well, that's only 3, so I need some more. So I'm going to put in another one. I'm not going to make it too long, but I don't want to make it too short either. So just kind of eyeball it. You know, once you make one, you'll know what you want and what you don't want, and what you didn't do and what you did do. So make a practice one first, something that you know, didn't spend a lot of money on. A lot of people don't understand, well, why are you selling that bracelet for that price? Well, and I'm trying not to, but supplies cost. My time is valuable. And for those of you who do make paper beads out there, you know that paper beads are very time consuming, especially when you're not mass producing them and you're taking your time and hand painting them and sealing them and putting love into them. It's an art, and I think everybody's art should be definitely appreciated and respected. Stuff takes time, but handmade is the best made. And it also helps people in our country be able to make a living where you're not buying things from all over the place and supports our American businesses. I think that's very important because I like to eat, don't you? I like to pay my bills. So, plus it supports your artists and keeps that alive, teaches our younger generation to make things by hand. You don't have to go buy everything store-bought and spend $1 billion. I think it's very, very important. So, I think, let me see. If I was to pull this closed, I'm going to just test to see how much more I want to put onto it. I think that's all I'm going to put on it. That actually looks long enough. Because if somebody's wrist was really tiny and they go to close that, if I leave it too big, it's going to be too big. And it's okay on somebody's wrist if, you know, you've got your bow dangles dangling and you've got a little bit of cord or whatever on the side, that's okay. But for smaller wrists, because you want these, like I said, to fit everybody, you don't want to go all honking, junking. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end that, which I'm going to end this the same way I did earlier. And if you come up with a different way, cool. This is just the way I do it. Bring that knot down, and then I'm going to cut it and glue it so it doesn't come off. Oh, I'm just having such a fantastic time today with knots. It says, not me, you won't. That is an understatement. So anyways, Hopefully, I am just having a rough time with knots today. This didn't go like this earlier, I promise you. I was just going to town on my knots, and this is not happening today. So, I'm going to try that one more time, and if not, then maybe I'll be able to finish it when the camera's off. Or maybe I'll tell it that the camera's off, so then maybe it'll let me put a knot in there. I don't know. It's a trick. It's tricky, I tell you. Hopefully, though, that wasn't too bad of a instructional video there. And I'm going to get my glue. Not too much. I want to get that Gorilla 1 something glue where it's like a controlled drop. There we go. And you don't want to glue your fingers or your cord because then it won't slide. So you got to be careful where you're putting that glue. I'm moving mine around a little bit just to make sure that I didn't do that. I think I almost did. Almost did. Okay, now I'm going to grab the other side. And let's hope that this knot goes better than the other one did. I was making these bracelets for hours, and my knots just went where I told them to, and there we go. And I said, well, let's get on YouTube and let's show them how to do this, and this is just what happened. Okay. Get a little bit of glue. And if this was nylon, I would just be burning it instead. But thread or yarn, hemp, and all that doesn't burn, or it doesn't melt, it just burns. So, moving my string around a little bit, making sure that I didn't get it glued. Moving my dangles. My bojangles. Okay, and now I'm just going to go back now that this is dried, and I'm just going to kind of snip a little bit closer so I don't have ends hanging out. And there we go. You have a beautiful paper bead macrame Shambala bracelet with beautiful dangles, my bojangles. Adjustable. One size fits most. And they're usually really easy just to put on yourself. And there you have it. I got lots of bojangles on. I think I'm addicted to bojangles. I like to hear the beads hit. But aren't those pink ones just pretty? There you have it. And I'll have these up in my Etsy shop. Jamaica Me Crazy Beads. That's Jamaica with a capital J, me with a capital M, crazy with a capital C, beads with a capital B. Jamaica Me Crazy Beads on Etsy. Go ahead, check me out, give me some support, and go ahead. Be my first buyer of one of these bracelets, and I'll throw you in a free gift. It'll be a surprise. And show some love. Anyways, hopefully that video was all right. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down below. I ask you to please show some love, subscribe, and until next time, maybe we'll come back and I'll show you how to macrame around a stone in case you want to make like a stone pendant necklace. Maybe we'll make some more bracelets. We'll do some double macrame. Until then, bye.